Tampa has changed a lot these past 2 years. I have lived here since 2008 and I have not seen anything like this. We have just experienced explosive growth, so much change. And along with all this change, it's only natural that the real estate market would also change. So if you're thinking about buying in Tampa and you're wondering what the real estate market is like in the early part of 2022, then you're going to want to watch this video. Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel, Living in Tampa, where it's my goal to show you everything you need to know about eating, sleeping, playing, and living in the Tampa Bay area. If it's your first time to my channel, do me a big favor, hit that little subscribe button, ring the bell so you'll be notified every time that I release a new video. So this video, I am talking about how the real estate market has changed, what it's like here in 2022, and I'm here to tell you it has changed a lot. I first moved here in 2008 with my family. We were a young family at the time. Yes, I was much younger. My kids were just babies really at that time. And the market was nothing like it is now. Homes were, selling well, of course. Florida typically always homes sell pretty well, but it was not like it is now. Now it's kind of crazy compared to how it was when we bought. So just to give you an example of that, when my husband and I first came here and we were doing some looking around, you had time to kind of ponder your choices. You could look at a house once and then maybe go back and look at it again and kind of think about it kind of thing. And we ended up buying in just north of Tampa in Land O'Lakes, and we kind of had our choice between about 2 or 3 homes. I'm so glad that we ended up in the home that we did end up at, but the point being is we took our time, we were able to think about it. We actually were able to offer less than the house was listed for. And now that we've been here for this long, our house has actually doubled in value in that time. Now, let me tell you, we were not thinking that was going to be the case. In fact, right after we bought, the market took a big dip and we were worried that we were never going to be, right side up again. We were upside down for so many years and we were so concerned that we were never going to be able to move and we felt pretty stuck. But we stuck it out long term and now I can't even believe it. We are most likely going to be selling our home later this year since we're going to be empty nesters, and I think we are going to end up doubling our money, fingers crossed, as long as this market holds out. So that's my story about how much Tampa has changed just on a personal note. And I wanted to go into just a few things, so that you would know the realities of this market here. Because I get people calling me, texting me, emailing me all the time, moving here from other places, and they don't realize some of the things that I'm going to go over today. And so I just want you to come into this with your eyes wide open and be prepared so that you're not disappointed when you come to Tampa, because you never want to be disappointed when you're moving. It's an exciting time and you just want to go into it knowing exactly what to expect. So let's get to that right now. So first and foremost, the first thing I want to talk about is prices. So we get people moving here, like I said, all the time from all those pricey states, New York, California, Washington State, all those areas where the home prices are probably triple or quadruple what they are here. But it really makes me scratch my head and wonder sometimes because I get so many people that call me and say, "Hey Victoria, I'm looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a 3-car garage. I want a pool, I want a big, big lot." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great." And then I ask them what their budget is, and they are dead serious when they say $300 to $350. Now, I'm here to tell you, Tampa, Florida is definitely a lot cheaper than any of the other places that most people are moving from. However, we don't have anything like that in our prices here. Yes, you can still find a home for $300, sometimes even $200, but it is going to be a very tiny, older home. You're not going to have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a pool and a large lot and all of that in the 300 range. So just to set some realistic expectations, if you are looking for something like I just described, and say you also want to be in a good school district, in today's day and age, it's going to be more in the neighborhood of 500 or so. Now, granted, that is a lot of money, but I will say if you're moving here from California, that's going to seem like pocket change. So just be realistic in your prices when you're moving, because our prices have gone up a lot in these past 2 years. It is still very affordable. Tampa is still a great place to live, but you've got to know if you're looking for a larger home with, a pool, you are still going to have to spend probably in the neighborhood of about $500,000. The second thing I want to talk about is our market. So Zillow has named Tampa the #1 market for 2022. And we are getting people moving here for a plethora of reasons, whether it's our beautiful weather, the cost of living, the way that our governor has handled coronavirus, taxes. I mean, there's so many reasons that people give me as to why they're moving here. But that has all resulted in our market being very competitive. I think it's kind of a nationwide thing right now, but I will say particularly in Tampa, if you are looking to buy here, you need to be ready and you do have to bring your A game. So most homes are selling way above the listing price, and most homes are selling in a matter of days, if not hours. The really, really desirable areas and desirable homes are going to sell super quick. So you're not going to have that luxury that I described earlier that my husband and I had back in 2008 when we bought and we were able to go look. First he went and looked and kind of narrowed down the list, and then I drove down and looked at the ones that he had picked out the next week, and then the following week we decided on an offer. That is not a luxury you have these days. If you see a house, you like it, you've got to offer on it right away. You've got to be pre-approved. You need to be doing a conventional loan if at all possible. You are going to need to have a large escrow deposit. The typical escrow deposit is going to be more like 2%. It used to be about 1%. Now you're going to want to do at least 2% to make your offer attractive. And the main thing that a lot of people don't realize is the appraisal gap. And I am going to do another video with my lender, kind of going over strategies of how to get your offer accepted in this competitive market. But I did want to take just a minute right now to go over what an appraisal gap is and how you can make that work for you so that you can be the winning offer in this competitive market. So because homes are selling at such a quick rate and at such high prices, the appraisals have not yet caught up with what the buyers are willing to pay. So when you make an offer on a property and you say you offer $25,000 more than what it's listed for, you are going to need to be willing to pay that difference out of pocket if the home doesn't appraise. And if you're not willing to pay the entire amount out of pocket, you need to at least specify how much you are willing to pay over an appraised value. That is something that the seller is definitely going to be taking into consideration when comparing the 7 or 10 or 15 offers that they have on the table. If your offer does not have an appraisal gap in it and another offer is the exact same price and terms, but theirs does include an appraisal gap, then the seller is most likely going to select that offer over yours. So just something to think about. It does require you to have more cash to bring to closing. You already need to have your down payment and your closing costs, so this just adds more on top of that. But that would be another thing that you definitely need to come into this market with your eyes wide open, as you are going to need a lot of cash to get to closing. And another thing I wanted to discuss that a lot of people who are moving here from out of state are not familiar with is the CDD fees. Now, I do have an entire video about CDD fees that you might want to check out that's going to go into a little bit more detail. But basically what it is a tax. It's a community development district tax. And some of the new communities, I would say not some, probably all of the new communities that have a nice amenity center, gorgeous community pool, fitness center, all these niceties that people want. The communities that have those that are being built now or were built anytime after about 2005 are most likely going to have a CDD fee. What that means to you as a buyer is it's going to be a higher tax rate than on a property that doesn't have a CDD fee. Most of the time, these CDD fees run from anywhere from $1,000 a year to $3,000 a year or more. And it is, again, a tax, so it won't be paid separately. It will be part of your mortgage, but obviously it's going to make the carrying costs of that home a little bit higher than a home that does not have that CDD fee. If you're in a community that doesn't have a CDD fee, most likely you're going to be in a community that also doesn't offer you those really super nice amenities. So it's kind of a trade-off. That brings me to the other thing is HOA fees. The majority of the communities are also going to have an HOA fee. Now, if you're in a CDD community, the HOA fee is typically super, super low. I mean, we're talking in the neighborhood of maybe $200 or $300 per year. So that is really, very nominal. And that's really just the cost for the homeowners association to be established and to be able to, enforce the rules and regulations in the neighborhood. So I hope that clears that up for you. It's definitely something you want to factor into the equation. And definitely if you have any questions about that, or if it's not clear to you, feel free to reach out to me. You can even comment down below. I'll do my best to respond to all those comments. So now I'm going to transition over a little bit to about the actual home. So the differences in the homes that are, in other states, the main difference I think that a lot of people seem to notice is our lot size. I do get a lot of people moving here. Again, I sound like a broken record, I think, from out of state, but they are, telling me, oh, I'm looking for maybe a 1/4 acre lot or a 1/2 acre lot, or I want at least an acre. That is very difficult to find in the Tampa market unless you're going to go way up into the suburbs. Spring Hill, Dade City, those kind of areas north of Tampa will have larger lots like that. But it's going to be a trade-off because 9 times out of 10, those homes that have larger lots are also going to be, older homes that might not be exactly what you had in mind. So if you're looking for somewhere close to Tampa, that's in an area with good schools, newer homes, you are going to get a very small lot. And if you're looking at new construction, you are mostly going to find the lots are going to be either 40 feet wide by maybe 100 feet long, or 50 foot wide by 110 feet long, something of that nature. There are some builders that are doing a little bit larger lots, but of course, the larger the lot, the higher the price gets. So just something that I want to be sure that people are aware of is the lot sizes here are pretty small, and sometimes people aren't thrilled with that. But I think, it's nice to be in a community. It's nice to have neighbors by, especially if you have children and you want them to be in an area where it's easy for them to make friends. It's kind of a trade-off that you might have to make. Obviously, a very personal decision, but something I want everyone to be aware of is that for the most part, the lot sizes here are going to be smaller than what you are used to. Which leads me right into my next point, which is bedroom sizes. This is another comment that I get from a lot of people. They're always so surprised how small our secondary bedrooms are. So most of our homes here, especially the newer ones, the secondary bedrooms are going to be in the neighborhood of, 11 by 11 or 12 by 12. Something of that nature. The bedrooms are pretty small. Now the master is usually quite large. And the common areas are usually really big, but the secondary bedrooms are going to be much smaller than what you're probably accustomed to. And that, I don't know why that is, but it is something that has been commented on a lot of times when I'm touring with people from out of the area. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that. And my last point, so I can wrap this video up, that I wanted to bring up to people that might not be aware is we do not have basements here in Florida. So if you're used to having, say, a 2,000 square foot home with a 1,000 square foot basement, that's not going to happen here in Florida. And the reason is we are pretty much at sea level. So if they try to build a basement here in the Tampa area, it's not going to happen because they're going to hit water before they even get deep enough to make a basement. So There are no basements. In fact, a lot of people have told me that they find that our homes have very little storage space. So you are going to want to plan accordingly when you move here. Now, on the bright side, you are not going to need your snowblowing equipment. You're not going to need your thick, heavy coats. You're not going to need your sleds. It's much easier, in Florida where you don't need all that big stuff. All you've got to store in the garage might be your beach chairs, things of that nature, a lawnmower. So a lot of us use our garages for storage, which is why you're going to see a large number of people parking in their driveways. Another reason that you might want to consider getting a 3-car garage if that's in your budget, because you could use one stall of the garage for storage and then use the other 2 for parking. Just an idea, but be aware that we have very little storage space in a lot of our homes. Well, I hope that has shed a little light on the realities of the Tampa market for you here in January of 2022. The market has definitely changed, and Tampa is changing too, but I will tell you what, it's a fantastic place to live. If you're tired of living in the snow and being cold, then you need to give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. Whichever method of communication you prefer is fine with me. I'm always available. When it comes to moving to Tampa, I've got your back. Do me a favor, hit subscribe so you'll know when I put out a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.